Good morning and happy Easter. We're so glad you could join us today for our Easter Sunday live stream. Don't forget to comment and let us know that you're watching. If you're wearing your Easter best or not, go ahead and take that Easter Sunday selfie and send it over to office@faithfoursquare.org, and we'll post those to our social media later on today. We have some fun things planned for you today. First off, we're going to start with worship.
I'm gonna live like my chains are
my mind to Calvary, where Jesus bled and died for me. I see his wounds, his hands, his feet, my Savior on that cursed tree. His body bound and drenched in tears, they laid him down in Joseph's tomb, the entrance sealed by heavy stone, Messiah's dead and all oh, praise the name of the Lord our God. Oh, praise his name forevermore. For endless days we will sing your praise. Oh, Lord, our God. Then on the third, at break of dawn, the Son of Heaven rose again. Oh, tremble down, where is your sting? The angels roar for Christ the King. Oh, praise the name of the Lord our God. Oh, praise his name forevermore. For endless days we will sing your praise. Oh, Lord, our God. He shall return in robes of white, the blazing sun shall pierce the night, and I will rise among the saints, my gaze transfixed on Jesus' face. Oh, praise the name of the Lord our God. Oh, praise his name forevermore. For endless days we will sing your praise. Oh, Lord, our God. Oh, praise the name of the Lord our God. Oh, praise his name forevermore. For endless days we will sing your praise. Oh, Lord, our God. Oh, Lord, our God.
This morning, as we celebrate and we remember what Jesus did, his death, his resurrection, and we celebrate Easter together, we're going to take some time to receive communion. And so doing it a little bit differently today. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to have someone in your group, either by yourself or just someone take the lead there and go ahead and give the elements out to one another. And remember what Jesus has done, receive the bread and then the juice, and go ahead and pray and bless one another as we continue in this last worship song.
Are you hurting, broken within? 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 Tell the world of the treasure you found.
Hello, and welcome to the BC News Weekend Update with your hosts, Dorcas Needleby and Lydia Periwinkle.
Our top news story this morning is about the much-anticipated chariot race between our reigning champion, Caesar August, and Pontius Pilatus II.
Can I make an educated guess here that you're voting for Pontius to be the winner of this race?
Yes, he is my favorite to win, although I wish he would get his hands dirty.
I could see that, and I hear from race officials that they are anticipating as large of a crowd as the Circus Maximus brings when it goes to Rome. And let me tell you, I've been there. The crowds are insane. They're everywhere. There isn't more than 3 or 4 feet in between people, if that. So if you're planning to go, it's going to be a great time, but make sure you bring, extra hand sanitizer. You're going to need it.
Good tidbit of information there. But in other news, wait a minute, hold on. It appears we have some breaking news. The body of the man who claimed to be the king of the Jews was stolen. Stolen from the tomb. It had been laid in earlier this morning.
Stolen? Last Friday morning, crowds watched the parade of Jesus of Nazareth and 2 rebels carrying their crosses to Golgotha. At around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, Jesus was declared dead. His body was taken from the cross and was released to Joseph Palacios from Arimathea to be placed in a new tomb. This morning, friends of Jesus went to the tomb and found no body. That's the accounts that we're hearing. Well, let's go to our sandals on the ground, Jim Fishman, who's at the scene with more information. Jim?
Dorcas and Lydia, it's a strange sight here this morning, where allegedly followers of this man Jesus came to the scene intending to anoint his body and instead found an empty tomb. At 6 a.m. this morning, 6 followers of Jesus, Mary the mother of James, Joanna, Mary Magdalene, and 2 unidentified women came to the tomb intending to anoint the body of Jesus. Apparently, these 6 had not come earlier as they had stayed home for the custom of Sabbath. Sources claim that the tomb not only had been enclosed by a large stone, but a seal had been placed on it, and a strong Roman guard was placed on site.
When we return from this very important commercial break, I'm going to be introducing Jim Fisherman with Mary, one of the followers who claimed to have found the tomb empty. Stay tuned.
What is up, my dude?
Oh, hey. I was just getting ready to fill out my check for my tithe for a church Sunday. And then I remembered we're still in this whole quarantine thing, and I'm not going to be able to be there to give it to them, and I don't know what to do.
I had that very same problem. And then I discovered online giving.
Online giving?
That's right. All you have to do is go to faithfoursquare.org/give, and you can donate your tithes and offerings from there.
That's great, but what if you don't have access to a computer?
We have a solution for that too. You can mail your checks directly to Faith Fellowship at 647 Douglas Street, Uxbridge, Massachusetts.
Great, thanks. I'm
No
gonna get
problem.
right on that.
Okay. Batteries not included, some assembly required.
Well, welcome back. If you're just turning in to the weekend update, we're following the breaking news of the empty tomb. We go to Jim Fishman in the field now. Jim?
Thanks, Dorcas. I'm here in the scene where Jesus' tomb was allegedly found empty early this morning. Here with me is Mary, the mother of James, who was one of the individuals who found the tomb empty. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Jim.
Tell us, in your own words, what happened when you came upon the scene this morning?
Well, Friday, the ladies and I had worked all day to prepare the spices to anoint Jesus' body. When we got here today, we thought we would find just a really smelly stench and the body rotting. But when we got here, we found the guard fainted at the stone, and the tomb was empty, and the burial shrouds were all folded up. There were no marks on the stone, no drag bodies on the ground. It was just an empty tomb with his burial shroud all folded up. we kind of panicked a little bit, and all of a sudden this bright light appeared, and we were scared, and it was just terrifying, but it was beautiful at the same time. An angel told us not to be afraid, for Jesus was not to be found here. We were looking for the living among the dead. Jesus is risen.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Mary. There you have it, Lydia and Dorcas. Whether you believe it or not, the tomb was found empty. And back to you.
Wow, no one would expect to find a tomb empty. But that isn't the craziest reports we've been hearing all weekend, right, Lydia?
No, Dorcas, it is not. We are hearing reports on our scroll account of relatives who have been deceased for weeks, days, months, even years, and they're just showing up, alive and well. Many of these individuals are claiming that they were dead one moment and alive the next. I don't get it. I don't get it. Walking out of the grave?
Yikes. There are definitely some skeletons I would rather keep in the grave, if you know what I mean.
Me too, Dorcas.
Yeah.
Me too.
And Lydia, add to this all of the photos that we've been seeing on the Dove Book about the sudden darkness that covered the whole earth, the curtain in the sanctuary that was torn down the middle from top to bottom.
Listen, insurance is claiming that curtain as a total loss, and it's gonna cost the temple $7,777 blemish-free lands to
Oh my
reinstall
gosh.
a new one.
That's insane. But we're gonna keep going with this story, and following our commercial break, we'll go back to Jim Fishman, who is in the field for another interview. Come back soon.
Does quarantine life got you down? Needing to connect with other human beings besides the ones in your household who are starting to get on your nerves? Are you needing your life groups now more than ever before, or maybe looking to join one, but social distancing is making that impossible? Then look no further. Introducing Zoom calls. With Zoom, you'll be able to talk and pray with other members of your life group remotely. If you'd like more information on how you too can be part of a life group that is meeting on Zoom, please contact Pastor James Knight.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning into the weekend update, we are following the breaking news of the empty tomb. We head back to our sandals in the field, Jim Fishman, as he interviews Nicodemus Daskalos,
That's correct. Yeah.
a close follower of Jesus and Pharisee. Jim?
Thank you, Lydia. Here we are with Nicodemus Daskalos, a close follower of Jesus and Pharisee. Welcome, Nicodemus.
Shalom, Jim.
Nicodemus, we're hearing wild stories that Jesus' tomb was found empty this morning, and that last Friday, dead individuals were returning home to their loved ones. Can you shed some light on this Jesus?
Of course, Jim, I would love to. When I first encountered Jesus, he was a complete mystery to me. Here was this man claiming to be from a small town in the middle of nowhere called Nazareth. But he was doing incredible things, healing the sick, casting out demons, teaching the Word of God in ways we had never heard before. I didn't know what to make of him. So I decided to meet with him one night, because I definitely had some questions that I wanted answered. We met together at one evening on the roof of the house where he was staying. And I started by saying, you're certainly from God, but I don't understand all these things that you're teaching us. I expected him to begin in the Old Testament, talking about faithfulness to God and obedience to the law and keeping the Sabbath and the commandments. But he didn't do anything of the sort. He started to talk about new life. I just didn't get it at first. I said, how can I go back into my mother's womb and be born again? He looked at me and just shook his head and said, you, a teacher, and you don't get it? And he began talking about a God who loved us, a God who gave everything he had so that we could know him. And this life he was talking about wasn't a life of physical birth. It was a life of spiritual birth, a life that could only come from God.
That's really an interesting story. Let me ask you, as a rabbi, as an expert of the law, should we be taking these stories and these rumors of Jesus, these stories of his disciples and followers seriously?
Absolutely. When I think of Jesus, there are two passages that come to mind. Let me grab my book of the Torah and the prophets. The first one that comes to mind is out of the book of Psalms, Psalms 26:3, and it says that he keeps in perfect peace those who trust in him. It's not a peace based just on good circumstances or having everything taken care of. It's not about the circumstances we walk through. It's about what God does in those circumstances and through those circumstances. Again, it's not a peace that comes from us. It's a peace that can only come from God in his love for us. The second one comes from the prophet Jeremiah. And he says that he knows the plans that he has for us, that they're good plans and plans to give us a future and a hope. What's interesting is that when the prophet gave these words, Israel was not experiencing the good things of life. They had been taken away from Israel. They were in exile in a land far from their own, far from the temple and everything they loved. But even there, once again, it was not a future based on what they could do or the circumstances they were experiencing, but a future and a hope that Jesus alone can bring about.
Well, there you have it, Lydia and Dorcas. Can we really argue with a teacher of the law? Back to you.
Thank you so much, Jim. Well, when we get back from commercial break, we'll be interviewing Marcellus Gallio, who was the Roman centurion present at Jesus' death. You won't want to miss this, so make sure that you tune back in.
I'm so bored. You know what? Maybe I'll do some baking. You guys want some chocolate chip cookies? Yeah. Okay.
Woohoo!
I think I'll make some muffins today. You guys want banana nut or blueberry?
Blueberry. Definitely blueberry.
Okay. Thanks.
Yum. I love this quarantine thing. She bakes all the time.
I know. You know what? I think I'm gonna make a pie today. How about chocolate cream pie?
Oh.
How about cherry?
Or apple, please. At least those have fruit in it. I'm sick of baked goods.
Don't worry, guys. You're gonna love it. I promise. I made brownies. Don't you guys want it?
I'm so tired of baked goods.
Well, how about now?
Enjoy.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning into the Weekend Update, we are following the breaking news of the empty tomb. With us now is Marcellus Gallio, the Roman centurion present at Jesus' death.
Welcome to the show, Marcellus.
Well, thank you for having me here.
You were present at the death of Jesus on Friday, were you not?
Yes, that is correct. I was recently transferred here from Rome, and I was put in charge of Friday's execution. I hadn't spent much time in the city, but I was updated on the accusations en route here last week.
Could you recount for us what happened on that Friday?
Okay, well, we started at about 6 a.m. It was just about like any other day, and we took the prisoners, we gave them their crosses, made them carry them up to the mount called the Place of the Skull. We had them put on the crosses, and we hung them there on the crosses that day. And the men gambled over the robe that was the man Jesus, because it was a very fine robe. It was handmade, and so they They gambled hard for it. And then Jesus died that day.
In your opinion, what did that all mean?
Ladies, I have seen many men die due to crucifixion. As a young soldier, it was my duty to provide gall to those who were crucified as they awaited their death. I have been cursed and spat on. I have seen all sorts of responses. But I have never seen a man hanging on a cross and forgive the murderers beside him, speak love to those watching him, or die without uttering a curse. I have never seen the sky turn dark or the earth shake at anyone's death. Surely, with all that, he was the Son of God.
Wow. I don't know what to say. So let's just go to Jim in the field. Jim, you've spent this whole weekend on the hill. You've been in the town surrounded by Jesus' friends. And this morning you were at the tomb. You've interviewed and followed every account that we've had come in about what we've heard today and beyond. Tell us, in your own words, what is it that we've seen? What is it that we should take away from this?
Well, ladies, you've heard along with me this morning about the death, burial, and what sounds like the resurrection of Jesus. I spent all weekend hearing stories of all that Jesus has done before his crucifixion. And I'm seeing eyewitness accounts of individuals who he's appeared to. Cephas, his 12 closest disciples, and then 500 additional followers. Based on all that I've seen with my own eyes, and I've heard about this weekend, I must share that Jesus is the hope that sin and sickness, sorrow and death no longer reign. But instead, that in the name of Jesus, we have the hope of a resurrected life. I must pass on this truth, that hope truly does have a name, and that name is Jesus. Back to you.
Well, we're so glad that you joined us this weekend for our weekend update, and we really would love for you to follow us on our Scroll account, our Dove book. Let us know what you think about all that we've shared here this morning. Is there something that you took away from Jesus, the hope that has a name? Wow, what a crazy thing. Send us your pictures to let us know all of the accounts of what you've seen this weekend.
We're signing off. This is Lydia Periwinkle.
And this is Dorcas Needleby.
Well, we're so glad to celebrate Easter with you, and thankful that you let us come into your homes and just present the Easter story, the gospel of Jesus Christ, to you in a whole new way, in a different, unique way, even with a lot of satire and fun. Yet there's a great truth. There's a great truth that I ultimately need Jesus to save me, and he is saving me. He has saved me, and he is saving me. Right now, he's even saving me from myself in many ways. And I don't want to forget that there are some of us here who maybe have never really heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. Maybe we don't really know, not everyone who's watched this or watching this right now has maybe a relationship with Jesus. And I just want to, encourage you. I want to encourage you to open up your heart to a possible revelation of Jesus' love for you, that he is for you. He's not against you, that he loves you, he desires to have relationship with you. And if you're wondering what are next steps, yeah, I want to have a relationship with Jesus, but I really don't know what the next steps are. It's simply you taking some quiet time with him and really just praying to Jesus, to God, and just saying, Jesus, forgive me of my sins and come to my heart and help me to live for you. And we want to help you with that. If you've made this decision to follow Jesus, you've kind of checking your own heart and saying, yeah, things need to change in my life, then I just want to encourage you to go ahead and reach out to us. We want to help you. You can reach out to us on the email listed below, or you could even private message us on Facebook. And we'd love to pray with you and just talk with you and kind of give you next steps and how do we walk with Jesus and how do we live this new life of relying on His gospel, and what does life look like and what can it look like? What can hope look like in the midst of where you're at? Anyways, we're praying for you. We want you to have a great Easter time. Eat a lot of food, have fun with your family, maybe play a board game or two, and enjoy yourselves. We'll talk to you later. God bless.